I'm Grace. I'm your host for today. And today we also have Kaden from Fidelity International to join us for this Chinese New Year special fun talk. So we do have a lot of things going on for today, and some of our prizes that we'll be giving away would be these tiger pearl that we have. This is a mini Lego that is for this year. And we will be giving away to 5 lucky winners today in this special Happy Year of the Tiger box. So here you will be able to find our mini Lego set, which will have 9,999 pieces, which will take you 444 hours to complete. No, I'm just joking. This one won't take you more than that. It will take about maybe 4 hours. We took about 4 hours to complete it. And it's a very cute and nice addition to your family for you to display at your house. Okay, so we hope that you will be able to win this. So like 5 lucky winners will be able to walk away with this today. And we'll send it to you by tomorrow. Okay, so just give us a little bit more time while we get more people in, and then we will start in about 3 to 5 minutes time. Hi, good evening, everyone. I think we can start already. We do have a lot of people joining us, even on the Tiger Broker app. So you also be able to view our Fun Talk special edition via Zoom link. To find the Zoom link, you'll be able to get it via the email that we sent across in this week and last week. We also are able to let you join us on this Fun Talk via YouTube. So for people who are joining us on YouTube, hello to you guys as well. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so we're going to begin the talk show today. Before we start, so just a brief introduction. My name is Grace. I'm from Tiger Brokers. And here with me is Kaden Ho from Fidelity International. So we will be, we want to wish you guys first. So Tiger Brokers here, we wish you all 虎虎生威，报春来，虎年吉祥，虎力全开， and 虎年行大运，恭喜恭喜 everybody. So Kaden here, Kaden is our is our BDM from Fidelity International. He's the senior wholesale manager. So maybe Kaden, you can say hello to everyone first.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Tiger Brokers, and thank you all of you for your time. Likewise, like Grace, I think Fidelity, we wish you a very, very happy Lunar New Year as well. Hopefully, it'll be a prosperous one for everyone and a prosperous time for markets too, since we are on the topic of investments today.
Yes, and today's topic is very much aligned with the Chinese New Year theme. So we're going to talk about China consumer trends and how it's also aligned to whatever's happening in Chinese New Year for the Chinese, for our Chinese people in China. So here we also will be giving out a lot of prizes throughout the entire show. And for those who missed it earlier, we will be giving out this very cute tiger pearl here. It's our Lego set that we designed for this year, which will be inside our Happy Year of the Tiger box. And we will be giving away 5 of this to our lucky winners today. And this will be through 5 questions that we'll be asking throughout the webinar. So stay tuned the entire show. And we will be asking questions for you guys to answer. And please pop your answers right below in the comment box. And for the Zoom people into the chat function. And for YouTube users onto the YouTube chat. So, okay. we just also wanted to let you guys know that okay, so let me just check to make sure that yeah. Okay, so everybody's already in. So okay, we're gonna start the show right now. So Kaden, I think yeah, so for this Chinese New Year, I think it's a special one for us and not much different from what's happening from a year or two before. So
Yeah.
even for this year, Chinese New Year, for me, I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with my extended relatives. I only went to my parents' place. How about yourself?
I think it's the same for all of us. Everyone is quite careful. So actually in Singapore, you're also seeing that quite a lot of people are getting this Omicron variant, right? It's like 10K, 13K per day. So I think this is due to Chinese New Year. And actually in Chinese New Year period, I think most people were very careful with socializing. When I went out to Chinatown on Chinese New Year Eve, there was actually not many people around, even though I went to buy like the Chinese New Year kind of goods, right? So this year, I think it's very similar to last year, very muted kind of celebrations. However, I think there's a positive as well because you tend to spend more time with your immediate family, right? That's something that I think will be less of a thing going forward. So here, I think Chinese New Year is more normal. You'll go out to see more of your friends, and then you'll spend lesser time with your immediate family. So I think there are pros and there are cons as well. But yeah, I'm still happy to spend some time with my immediate family.
For me, I actually managed to catch Jack Neo's latest movie, The Augusto Army.
Oh, I heard it is doing very well in the cinemas. Do you like it?
I think I prefer the guys edition. Girls going to army, I don't support that.
I can't, but I don't think. Yeah, I can't imagine actually. I can't imagine. Even though when I was in the army, I've seen quite a few female officers and sergeants, but I can't imagine. Is it an all girls cohort or something? I didn't watch the movie. Hey Grace, are you there? I think your connection's a little bit wonky.
So sorry, yeah, my screen freezed.
Yeah, okay, now I see you.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah. I did plug the internet already, but I'm not too sure why my Wi-Fi here is not very strong. Okay, never mind. So sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, maybe I can. I didn't really manage to catch what you mentioned about the
It's okay.
army
It's okay. I
stuff.
just I would love to catch the movie because I can't imagine so many girls in the army.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I think something interesting maybe I would like to share with everyone as well as Kaden to just last week we actually spent our New Year, right? So I did get to speak to some of my Chinese colleagues because Tiger Brokers, we are a Chinese company, and when I speak to them last week, right, technically they're supposed to be on leave, right, because it's their 春节 and 1 week they're supposed to be away. But some of them actually went back to work, and when we spoke, she mentioned that she didn't manage to go back to her hometown this year, and actually for 2 years already she has not seen her family. And yeah, and I felt really sad for her as well. And it's also because the Winter Olympics was happening in China, and they wanted to take a lot more precaution about that. So they did advise against traveling. So most of them did stay back at their cities and they spend the New Year there. So some of them go back to work.
Working.
Yeah. So so I think we are seeing some trends in China right now. And today's topic, of course, will be on the China consumer trend. And we wanted to share a little bit more about what's happening in China. I mean, not I share. So Kaden will be the one sharing. I'll be the one listening and learning from Kaden. So everyone can learn from Kaden as well. So we want to know how is it like in China, and how is the consumer trends like in China. For those who just joined us, just a reminder as well, we will be, yes, this is a cute tiger Lego, right? Yes, we will be giving away this throughout the show. We have 5 of this to give away. Of course, it will be in pieces, so you have to fix them yourself. So this will be inside our Happy Year of the Tiger box, which will come with the Lego set as well as our fanny pack that we'll be giving away. So to 5 lucky winners throughout the whole session, and we will be having questions for you guys to answer. So for these questions, please leave your comments in the app. For the Zoom participant, please leave it in the Zoom chat. And for those on YouTube, please leave it on the YouTube chat. And we will be picking one random lucky winners for each question to walk away with this tiger. So we will be sending this to you tomorrow, so you get to enjoy it for this weekend. Okay. So today's topic obviously will be on China consumer trend, and everyone knows that we do spend a little bit more on Chinese New Year. So on this topic, maybe we can start with our very first question. So for consumer account, how much? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Consumption accounted for how much of Chinese GDP growth in 2021? Yeah, this will be our very first question for everyone to participate. Please leave your answer below. Just very simply put A, B, C. The fastest person, the person who has the correct answer, will pick a random lucky winner, and we will contact you to receive the gift tomorrow.
Yeah, great. So I think this is a good question to ask because there are many parts of the Chinese economy. Some people think that capital formation, property, the buying of machinery, building factories are the driver. Some people think that the consumer is the driver. So I think since we are talking about the Chinese consumer today, it does make sense to get an idea of how important consumption and the Chinese consumer is to the overall economy in China.
So yeah, I think all the answers are coming in. I see a lot of A's, some B's, some C's.
Let me know when you want to stop, Grace, and I'll give out the answer, okay?
Okay, maybe we just give everybody one more minute, just one more minute, and we'll close the poll and we will pick the lucky winner, and then Kaden will get to explain to us the answer. So just give us a while more.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, Kaden, it's for you to review.
Reveal the answer. The answer is actually A, 65%, right? So in 2021, I think China had a pretty decent, strong year. It ended the year with a GDP growth of about 8%. But of that 8%, 65% was due to final consumption, and a lot of this final consumption is attributed from the Chinese consumer. So on this chart here from Bloomberg is one of the very recent charts that I've come across. It shows you of total GDP growth in China through the years, how much comes from final consumption, how much comes from gross fixed capital formation in pink color, and net exports. So I think what we want to concentrate on is that black color bar. Right, and as the years go by, you can see the black bar is a significant part of the entire economic growth. But when it comes to the final year, all the way in 2021, you can see that the black portion is a huge part of the entire bar, which tells you that the Chinese consumer is now very important to the Chinese economy. It was always important, but it's growing in importance, right? And I think we shouldn't be surprised, right? So if you take a step back and look through what the Chinese economy has been doing or has been transforming, right, you would maybe hear this term called dual circulation, right? The dual circulation policy that has been announced 1 to 2 years ago, right? So what is this dual circulation policy, and then why does it matter, right? How does it tie into the Chinese consumer and consumption in general? So for a lot of many years, right, a few decades, a lot of growth in China was powered by trade, right? Once upon a time, the Chinese economy was known as the factory of the world, right? They produced most of the goods that were being used around the world. So trade is obviously a very important driver of Chinese growth. As the years go by and as China begins to develop, the Chinese economy has been shifting towards internal demand, right? So now China not just wants one engine of growth, which is trade, they want two engines. So trade, right, deals with businesses or activities that are outside of China, and internal demand or consumption deals with things that are inside China, right? So moving forward, more and more, we should see a growing importance of the internal engine, right? Internal demand, and that is where the consumption theme comes in. Right, so today, if you're an investor and if you're looking in China, I would say maybe don't fight the trend, right? Because this trend is deliberate, right? There is a very clear reason, and there's a really clear motivation to move towards internal consumption in China.
So I guess most people are buying things from China as well. And this is not only about the locals themselves. And I'm sure the locals, they themselves also buy things from China, especially now during the Chinese New Year period. Everybody needs to do their 年货, right? And because they are like cross cities, they will probably have to buy all this online, and and most of these items that they order, right, will be for the full year because they haven't seen their family for a very, very long time. So I'm sure they buy a lot of things there.
Yes. And I think, Grace, one thing we sort of forget is that even if it wasn't Chinese New Year, I think that e-commerce is still a huge thing, right? It's just that now even more so you need e-commerce because of certain restrictions in the different cities, right? So e-commerce is sort of the only way to go. But I think even if there wasn't any restrictions, e-commerce should still be quite strong in China.
And actually, other than this Chinese New Year, Valentine's Day coming up. So just in a week's time, I'm sure everybody need to start buying their Valentine's Day present or prepare for their loved ones already.
Yes, I think that would be a good driver of e-commerce. Roses online.
Yeah, nowadays, every single day also can celebrate. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Every single month also got something to buy.
That is true. It's something that I actually look forward to. It's like if I'm gonna buy, say, an air purifier, I'll just wait for the next one, right? Every month.
Same. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the next thing it'll be interesting to know about is we see a lot of people getting richer and richer, especially the people in China as well. So a lot of them are wealthier, and a lot of them are buying things. When they buy house, they actually buy one entire street. They don't buy the house alone. So I think we can bring up our second question for our audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So the second question, I think it is pretty interesting to ask, right? The audience, what is your feel, right? In China, which income class do you think drives the most consumption? Do you feel that is the top, 3-5% of income earners in China? Is it the middle class or is it the lower income class? I think realistically speaking, it's not C, right? I mean, just to give that away. So it's a two option question now. Is it the highest income earners or the middle class that spends the most in the totality of the entire economy or consumption?
Well, I think our participants here know the answer already.
Really?
Most of them are answering.
I can't see the responses. Okay, but the responses already come in. You let me know when to reveal the answer that everybody knows. Okay.
Okay. So I think they are still answering. So we give them a little bit more time, and also for our other Tiger friends on the other platform as well. I think we have very, very smart audience today. Everybody seems to know the answer to the question.
Honestly, Grace, they got it correct. Because it took me a while to come up with the logic for the question. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, just now we were just discussing as well, right? I myself, I thought, correct. I thought it would be the richest one, of course, spend the most, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, we got most of the answers already. Yeah, let's review the answer.
So I think I can't see the answers, but Grace has sort of hinted that most people got it right. It's really the middle class that is responsible for most of the consumption that goes on in the Chinese economy. And actually not just the Chinese economy, but this is the kind of trend that you will see across the world, right? So why not the lower income class? I think that one is pretty intuitive, right? So lower income earners, they may have the willingness to spend, but they haven't yet gotten the ability, right? This is rapidly changing as people move above the poverty line, and that's why you see that there is a growing middle class, right? And it's also not the top earners, because if you think about things practically, right, and I think in Singapore we see the same thing. The top earners in Singapore, for example, let's talk about cars, right? They may buy more expensive cars, right? Maybe 2 times or 3 times more expensive a car than in an average person. But even if they're, let's say, 100 times richer, they won't buy 100 cars, right? So it's the same thing. You cannot eat more than 1 lunch. You cannot eat more than 1 breakfast. And so they have a lot of ability to spend. The highest income earners, they have a lot of ability to spend, but their willingness to spend may not be as high as a percentage of their total disposable income. But you have a sweet spot in the middle class where they have the ability to spend, and they also have the willingness to spend. And a lot of their disposable income is being spent, right? So they drive consumption in a very big way. And therefore, when you talk about China, when you talk about India, sometimes even the likes of Brazil, all these emerging market countries, you will always hear people talk about the middle class. Because the middle class is really, really important for consumption. And if you look at the trend over here, on this slide here, we're trying to just box up the middle class in 2010 versus 2018. And you can see that in China, the middle class is swelling, right? Because of the increase in wealth of the overall population, more people are coming up from the lower income range into the middle class range. So if today you are an investor that's interested in riding the consumption theme, I think it is a pretty decent time.
So I mean, there's still so many lower income class people to go to the middle class. So I think we are still very, very early in the game. We still have a lot more people to migrate to the middle class.
Yes. And there's a name for that, Grace. That's called positive or favorable demographic trends. When you have people that are young, that are going to be working for a long time, that will move into the middle class, that will spend, will support the economy, those are positive or favorable demographic trends. We see that in China, we see that in the likes of India as well.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, for those who join us in between, just a reminder as well, we are actually giving out this very cute Lego Tiger Pal. We have already done 2 questions, so we have 3 more to give away. So for this Tiger Pal, right, you're able to get it from our Happy Year the Tiger box, which we have curated for this year Chinese New Year. And we will be giving away this Lego, which you will have to piece it yourself, obviously. So you see, yeah, it's quite intricate. It took us like 4 hours to fix this. So you will have this to do it for the weekend. You will have something to do for this weekend as well. Okay, so for this next question, yeah, because we are doing 5 questions, right, for this entire session. So we're gonna go to the 3rd questions already. So yeah, before we start this, I wanted to share again my friends, my colleagues in China, right? When they were shopping for Chunjie and they have to buy their nianhuo, right? I asked them, so all of us usually we buy all the chunjuan lah, bakwa, all this, right, for nianhuo. But what would our Chinese friends buy when they cannot travel back to their country because they can't be buying food for their country, right? So unless they're staying in the same city as their parents. So I asked them, and then they told me that usually they will buy some tech products, some facial products for their mom. They can buy some books, they can buy some clothes for their parents, and usually they buy a lot. So I asked them, so where you buy from? Then they say they buy from Taobao, they buy from Tianmall, and all these goods, right? It seems like everybody will be buying the same things lah. So
is
the
it?
next, yeah. So very interesting. So all these things that they buy, right, is very similar across all the colleagues that I asked as well. So next question, yeah, we're gonna go into personal digital gadgets. Yeah.
Okay, let me just share the screen first. But I'm quite curious, Grace. So what is the top product that people are buying for their parents in terms of tech?
I need to go and ask my friend if you want to find out. You
Because
want to buy also?
the reason why I asked is because, right, things like those life hack kind of things, right, it always starts from China one. Like they have things ladles that can remove the Hai Di Lao oil. It comes from there first. So we need to know what they buy so that we can just get on it earlier instead of waiting for it to come to Singapore. Right. So back to the 3rd question. So the 3rd question is, in terms of personal digital gadgets, and I think in terms of personal digital gadgets, we're referring to mobile phones, which countries' products do Chinese consumers favor the most? And do Chinese consumers like Korean mobile phones, Chinese mobile phones, or US mobile phones? I think this one is a pretty easy one. Got the previous one, they would definitely get this one.
Okay, we just wait for them to answer. In the meantime, right, I wanted to tell you something funny. I was just talking to my colleague. So my colleague, right, we were discussing about what do we think that the Chinese have in terms of technology that we haven't. We think that it might be interesting in Singapore and that we could share with our Tiger friends here, right? Then we were discussing and saying like, but when we ask our China friends, right, maybe to them the technology that we don't have yet, right, is still is something that they already have for a very long time already. So they don't even find it interesting.
I mean, even for payment systems, right, they've been using QR codes for the longest time. And I would say, right, before COVID-19 and before the Trace Together app, Singaporeans don't really use QR codes that much.
Yeah, and at least 2 or 3 years ago, I really heard the stories that even beggars on the street of China use QR code.
Yes. There's no money, but they got their paper with lemonade.
Yeah, so me and my friend was like thinking, then how do we ask our Chinese friends what is interesting thing that we can share in Singapore? Because we don't know where to start from. We're already so slow in tech already. So I was telling her we need to go China and see for ourselves. Then we know which one we are lacking that we can share again here next time in our talk show.
Yeah, I really hope to go and see also because I've heard so much.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have a lot of answers already.
I think how many didn't say China?
A lot of B and C actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the answer is B, China. So when it comes to things like personal digital gadgets, right? China is really moving up, right? So actually, Grace, I don't know whether you want to give some prizes for C also lah, because in the tier 1, tier 2, what this chart shows is that China is top, but in tier 3, tier 4, you still see that actually the USA is top there lah. So maybe you want to give 2 prizes lah, up to you, right? But
okay.
Just to bring everyone through what the slide you're seeing here. So over here, you see many categories of products and then which countries' products do respondents in China think are the best, right? So for example, dairy or milk, right? So the top brands that people like in China when it comes to dairy is Chinese brands, right? Across tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. Second is Australia. Okay, so this is how you sort of read the charts, and you can see that for most of these product categories, Chinese goods will feature in the top 3, right? And it's apparent more so in things like dairy, personal digital gadgets. I think things like skincare and red wine and cosmetics, not there yet. You can see that the developed market brands, the French brands, the European brands, the US brands, they still dominate. But if you look at the tier 3, tier 4 cities, you will see a little bit more of that in a little bit more preference in Chinese goods. So I think it gives us an idea, right, where this trajectory is going. In China, there is a lot of preference now, right, and a growing preference for Chinese products. And I think myself and Grace, we were also discussing just now that actually when we look around in our house, you see tons of Xiaomi products.
Yeah.
Xiaomi products. And the important thing to sort of note here is that we are not buying Chinese products because they are cheap. We are buying them because they are actually good, right? So that's a very, very important difference, because in the past, we used to buy them only because they are cheap. But now you really buy them because they're the best. I think Xiaomi like home products are really the most reliable.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so because Kaden actually say that we should reward those with a C answer, right? So for those who answered B, the prize would be this. But for those who answered C, right, we're actually going to give you all a special prize instead.
Wow.
Yeah, we will give this one. This is actually our latest collection.
Let me stop sharing screen first, Grace, so you can show.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, now you can show.
Yeah. So we're giving this. I think I should do how the influencers always do, right? Like that. Yeah. See, can you see? This one is our latest collection. Pop Mart is the Chinese New Year edition. So for the one that answered C, one lucky random winner will walk away with this instead. So we'll send this to your house instead of the Lego set lah, just for this special edition, because Kaden requested for someone to win in the C as well. Okay.
Generous.
Okay, so yeah, other than local brands that you mentioned earlier, Kaden, is there anything else that we can consider when we invest in the Chinese equity market?
Yeah. I think there are a lot of themes, right? When you're investing in the China consumer, there are a few themes that you want to take note of. One we already talked about, which is local brands, right? And local brands are gaining popularity in China. So if you are looking to invest in the Chinese consumer theme, look out for companies that have a very good, strong local brand. That's one thing. The second thing that we didn't go through, but I'm sure everybody knows, is digitization. So that's another trend or theme that you should look at, right? When you today look at companies that are likely to do well, likely to reap the most returns from Chinese consumer, they are likely going to be some form of a digital business. So that's the second theme. But But the third theme, maybe, actually our audience is quite smart, so maybe they'll know. But the third theme is something called premiumization. All right. Before we go into that, let's just ask the fourth question. Right. So the fourth question is, luxury car sales recovered more quickly in China post the 2020 lockdown. True or false? And when I say luxury car sales recover more quickly, it is vis-a-vis non-luxury cars, means your normal cars in Singapore will be likely your Japanese brand cars. Right? So did luxury car sales recover more quickly post 2020 lockdown, or non-luxury cars recover more quickly in terms of sales?
Okay, let me see. I think it's quite even, A and B.
That's good. I think we're asking the right questions and we're sharing the right information.
A lot of A's though. I think I only saw a few B's. A lot of A's. Our audience are really, they really know the market very, very well.
Either that, Grace, or they also watch WWTV.
The WWTD, yeah. Yes, correct.
I did speak
Those
about
who watch,
it.
yeah, those who watch WWTD, which happened in January at the start of the year, yeah, I'm sure you all will listen and know all this answer already as well. Very lucky for you, you already got the answer before.
Yeah. So shall I reveal the answer that
Yes,
most people know?
yes.
Okay. So
Correct. I think all is done already.
It's true, right? So obviously, when I talk about premiumization, you can see where I'm going with this. So let's look at the right-hand side chart first, because it shows you the proof, right? So on the right-hand side chart, you see the sales of luxury cars, that's in orange color, and the sales of non-luxury cars, that's in blue color, right? All in all, you will see that over here, there's a sharp spike downwards. That's because of COVID-19 lockdowns. Nobody can go out to buy cars. Obviously, your car sales will fall. But the interesting thing is that when lockdowns were lifted, right, which cars sold the most, the fastest, and recovered the fastest, it's the orange color line, which tells you that premium products are a lot more in demand, or are growing, at least growing in demand in China. Right. Another more simplistic way to look at it is the chart on the left-hand side. Right. So the chart on the left-hand side is really the mix of the kind of cars that are being sold in China. So going back to 2012, what this chart is trying to say is that for every 10 cars that were sold in China in 2012, 9 were non-premium cars and 1 was a premium car. But as the Chinese economy improves, grows, the wealth of Chinese consumers improve and grows, you can see that this trend is changing. So by the time we came to 2021, for every 10 cars that were sold in China, about 2.5 were luxury cars, right? And then the rest were non-premium cars, right? So you can see that there is a growing preference and ability for the Chinese consumer to go for higher products or more premium products. And this trend is a trend that we call premiumization.
Is this the same globally? Do we see this the same for the rest of the world?
Actually, we don't really see this happening for the rest of the world. For example, if you look at the UK, right? If you look at a study in the UK, for most product categories, right? We don't talk about cars, right? You can talk about dairy, you can talk about household goods. Most people in the UK are looking to trade down, right? But in China, we call this trading up. The premiumization, you want to buy a more premium product, is called trading up. And the reason for that is because if today you're a Chinese consumer, the Chinese economy is growing at 8% last year. In 2020, don't forget that even with COVID, even with lockdown, it was the only major economy in the world that posted a positive GDP growth number, right? So if you're a Chinese consumer, you are a lot more optimistic, very likely, like you are a lot more optimistic about your future and your future earnings potential, right? And if your wealth is growing very quickly, it is likely that you go and buy the premium car that you didn't really buy, right? But if you look at a developed market such as UK or even in Singapore, right, a lot of the people who want to buy a premium car already has a premium car, right? So the saturation of the market is a lot more than in China. So China, the interesting thing is the number of people with the willingness and ability to buy premium products are rising quite rapidly. So it's something that you only get in the likes of China. I think some other emerging market countries will also see a similar trend like this. But China is obviously one of the biggest, most key economies.
I mean, because we're talking about your consumer, China consumer, right? This will definitely link to the fund that Fidelity's manages. So since we are talking about these luxury cars, and I'm sure that they are not local brand luxury cars in China, they are probably European luxury cars. So how will Fidelity take advantage of this trend and put it into their portfolio?
Yeah. So actually, when we talk about luxury cars, some of you may be wondering, right? Are these local brands, right? The theme that we talked previously. The answer is actually not really, at least not yet. When it comes to cars, you can imagine that the Chinese consumer really likes continental cars, right? Not that different from in Singapore. So when I try to do a bit of research here, the top selling ones is the usual suspects: Audis, BMWs, as well as Mercedes. And then I went to Grace's question: how can they benefit from these? From this, how can we benefit from investing into China, right? So we don't buy or we don't look at the automakers, because the automakers are listed in Europe. We look at dealerships. So there are certain dealerships that we monitor, that we see opportunity in. The dealerships, they basically sell these continental cars, right? So the dealerships, I think in Singapore, is the same thing, right? So you got Tan Chong Motors, you got Cycle and Carriage, they have exclusive deals to distribute. So we look for the ones that we see have a good business model, they run the business well, they have the right products to sell, right? And those are the ones that we see opportunity in. I can't really say the name, but we can talk about sort of like the type of business, which is car dealerships.
And I guess for those of you who are interested to see how does Fidelity manages their fund to tap into this China consumer trends, and if you're interested to also buy into the fund, you can just check it out on our fund mall. Just hit to discover under fund mall and look for Fidelity China Consumer Fund, and you're able to gain access to this China consumer trend as well through this fund that's actively managed by Fidelity. So yeah, we are actually down to our very, very last question and a very last chance for customers to win this very, very cute tiger pal Lego. But before we go into that, I wanted to also share with everybody that please do not immediately leave the video after we announce the last questions, because after that we still have 3 other promotion and 3 other things that we want to share with you guys. So stay to the end. And we also have Miss Suan Ming Shi to help us to pick out what is the lucky color of the year. Okay, so yeah, we are back to our very, very last questions ready. So Kaden, you have been talking so much about consumer sector so much. How do we link it to performance?
Yes, we link it to performance by talking about the numbers, right? So for sure, if you're talking about the Chinese consumer sectors, right? When I talk about Chinese consumer sectors, I'm talking about IT, I'm talking about healthcare, consumer staples, consumer discretionary, and communication services, these sectors, right? So these sectors as a whole, right, we call them consumer-related sectors, they have definitely outperformed Chinese equities, broad Chinese equities, right? But the question here, and this one is not an easy one, is by how much? So the question is, in the past 10 years or over the last 10 years, consumer sectors outperform the broad Chinese equity index by approximately how many percent? Right? How much better did consumer sectors perform versus broad Chinese equities over the last 10 years?
Kaden, did you also share this in WWTD?
This one I didn't.
Why our audience all so smart one?
I think I made a mistake, right, of putting one number a lot further away from the other 2 numbers.
Everybody seems to know the answer.
Yeah, I did about performance, but I didn't really share the numbers, right? So yeah, Grace, do you have your winners already?
Wait, let me see. I think answers are still coming. Someone asked what is WWTD. For you guys who did not catch our WWTD, that was our What Would Tiger Do Market Outlook event for 2022. We will host this every year, so stay tuned for next year's WWTD. In our WWTD event this year, we actually have a physical location store at Tiong Bahru, where it was a carnival event for everyone to come down and test out what investment experience is like through experiential experience there. So we also had our online webinar session that we have also invited Fidelity to share with us on China markets as well. So that happened all in January 8 and 9. So don't worry, for those who missed it, right, you can still catch our videos on the live app on Tiger Broker. Watch the past WWTD sessions that we had. If not, catch us also next year. Yeah, I think everyone is done with their answers already. Yeah, Kaden,
Okay.
please review.
Well, I'm not even going to bother circling the correct answer already since everybody got it correct. But the correct answer is 150%, right? So the chart that you see over here is the performance of consumer sectors. And I'll say again, consumer sectors means communication services, IT, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, and healthcare. So what we did here to do the study is we take these 5 sectors and we equally weight them as if you are in a you had a portfolio of these 5 sectors, and then we saw the performance and we had a look at the performance. So over the last 10 years, you would have, if you invested in these 5 sectors, a return of about 207%, right? And if you can see the slide over here, this data is as of 31st December 2021, right? This means that it includes the very big drawdown that we have seen since last year. It happened last year. So things have stabilized already in markets, especially in China markets and Asian markets. Yeah, and overall, this 207%, to reiterate again, includes that drawdown. If we don't have that drawdown that we've seen, the number would have been a lot higher, right? And this 207% is a lot higher than the blue line. So the blue line is MSCI China. MSCI China is an index that we use to see the performance of broad Chinese equities. So Chinese equities that are of many various sectors, including and excluding the consumer-related sectors. So I think you can see that if you were to focus, right, your attention, your money, and your investing strategy on consumer-related sectors, you would have been rewarded over the last 10 years. Right, nobody can predict the future, but I mean, everybody's going to ask, right, is this trend likely going to continue? And to that, I will say, don't fight what the Chinese economy is doing. The Chinese economy is slowly transitioning from having one engine of growth, which was trade, to 2 engines of growth. Right, so the second engine is internal demand, and a lot of internal demand is basically consumption. Right, so again, I cannot predict the future. I don't think anybody can, but it seems like this is the trend, right? The Chinese consumer is going to be very powerful and it's going to be very important for the Chinese economy.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, for those who don't know, the answer is A. Yeah, so for that, we conclude the questions and the games for today. But do join us every month, right? We also always have this kind of fun talk, and we will always be giving away all this cutesy tiger stuff. And for this special session, right, we also want to share with you guys more stuff here. So yeah, this was the Chinese New Year special tiger box that we give away during this session. We will continue to do so in the next few sessions that we have for fun talk. And now we go to the next slide. Yeah, so for this Li Chun, where do you put your money, right? So hold on a session. Hold on a while. Yeah, wait. Miss Suan Ming Shi is out. Miss Suan Ming Shi today will tell you where to put your money for Li Chun. Look at my 八卦镜. I'm going to help you all count the future. Okay, so for this Li Chun, where should you put your money? It is at Fun Mall. So guys, please look at our Fun Mall. So to explore our Fun Mall, right, you can go to the Discover page, then click on Fun Mall, and that's where you find more information on Fun Mall. So yeah, some people ask what is Fun Mall. So Fun Mall is where we distribute unit trusts by professional fund managers like Fidelity. So Fidelity's China Consumer Fund can be found on our Fund Mall, and this was the topic that we discussed for this evening. And for those that are interested into how to invest in the China consumer market, you can go straight through via Fidelity China Consumer Fund and gain access through there. Okay, so next thing as well is for those who are not sure where to begin to start your investment, right? We also have this Unit Trust Starter Pack. So for Unit Trust Starter Pack, this is a special promotion by Tiger Brokers. So for those who don't know where to begin, go to Discover, Fun Mall, and hit on our UT Starter Pack. My glasses very, very small. Keep on dropping. forward. Yeah, head on to Unit Trust Starter Pack, and here we are having this special promotion. So here we are able to see there's 4 funds that we actually picked up for you guys, and you will be able to gain access to the global market. So in this promotion, we are giving away $50 cash rebate when you place a purchase in the UT Starter Pack. This promotion will run all the way to end of March, and you will be able to get your rebates after 90 days. Okay, and the next thing that we have for you guys is our Valentine's Day promotion. Yes, just now we mentioned as well that Valentine's Day is coming, and we actually ran this promotion from 28 Jan to 10 Feb. For those that are not aware, we have this sunset sale with Royal Abertas to give away. So all you need to do is place a purchase into the Unit Trust Starter Pack by 10 February. A lucky random winner will win this sunset sale with your loved one to go on your sunset sale. If you cannot find a loved one, you can find me, Grace, okay, or Suan Ming Shi, okay? For the next part, okay, Suan Ming Shi now going to give you all the lucky color for the year, okay? Okay, and the lucky color for 2022 is, of course, yellow lah. Okay, thank you guys for supporting Tiger Brokers, and thank you all for your attendance for today's session. We will have another fun talk in the next 2 weeks, so please stay tuned for more fun talks by Tiger Brokers, and we will always have this special session and special giveaway for all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Good evening and good night.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks everyone on the call as well for your time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.